pledge allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up is approval of the amended agenda.
I will move to approve the amended agenda for April 22, 2025.
Second?
Is that?
Second.
Yeah.
It's been moved in second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I don't see the need to amend the agenda at the last minute. The subject added is not one that has been, it's not urgent, it's not a need to amend an agenda at this point in the game, so I'm at no. I think we should stick with the original agenda.
I didn't even see this until I sat down. And it doesn't follow the rules that we established for nominations. When we, what's that?
We have to vote on the agenda first.
Oh, sorry.
We have, it's been motioned and seconded. Is there any discussion further?
I agree with Deb.
You're not. Are you voting?
I didn't know we were.
Is there any further discussion?
Well, that's what I was trying to do.
Okay.
When we spent a lot of time last year changing the nominations procedure.
Stop.
Am I supposed to stop?
We haven't, it's not, we're just voting about the agenda, not the topic.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We have an amended agenda before us.
If we vote to approve it.
You want to do just a
Do a
voice
roll call.
vote, or you want to do
Do a
roll
roll
call?
call.
Okay,
Please.
sure. Kabala? Yes. Holmstrom?
Yes.
Zemer?
No.
Hillebrand?
No.
Sickinga?
No.
Brown?
No.
Salter?
Yes.
We have 3 yeses, 4 noes. We will stick to the non-amended agenda. How's that for double negative? So the original agenda.
Double negative.
Mm-hmm.
I'll move to approve the original regular agenda for April 25, 2025.
Second.
May I just clarify, it's actually the 22nd.
Yes, I'm sorry, there is.
Oh, I'm reading
yeah.
off the paper.
Yeah,
You're
that,
sure?
you're Brenda was in the time warp.
Happens
so-
when you're retired.
Yeah. I have since fixed it,
know
yeah.
what day it
It's
was.
actually April 22nd.
I know it's
Thank you.
Tuesday,
Yeah, we nailed that.
22nd, 2025.
Thank you. So Sickinga, motion, Brown support, correct? Okay.
Correct. With the corrected date.
Yes.
All those in approval say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. No. Next is the consent agenda.
Before we vote on the consent agenda, I'd like to request a correction to the minutes and ask that some of the discussion from the meeting is included in the official record.
Would think it would have to be on the table to do that.
No. No, I mean, if our attorney can,
Yeah, did we have a motion and a second to discuss it?
No.
No, we gotta have a motion and a second.
Robert's rule says that I have to do this before the,
Well, I think we have to have the motion to discuss it, and then if there's a change to the minutes, then it can be brought up during the discussion.
I'll do it that way,
Yeah.
but I checked Robert's rules and it said to do this before. so.
But I'm not, I don't think so, but that's,
I could be wrong, of course.
We don't follow every rule of Robert's.
Why,
No, we need to get bills.
Technically, it should be pulled out of the consent
Yeah,
agenda
that's-
anytime you have to question or discuss an item that's under the consent agenda.
so you'd ask for it to be removed, but during the
Discussion.
consent, yes.
just tell me what to do when you get there.
That's why we're kind of like,
So I
So do
will
we
move
have-
for the approval of the consent agenda. Right?
Did we get up to that? I don't know.
yeah, we can get there.
Yep.
Is that
Let's
the
go
next
with that.
step?
Yep, that's
Okay.
good.
So do we have a second on
Yeah, I'll
that?
second it.
Thank
All right.
you.
That's where we're at. Lord.
All right,
Mhm.
is there any further discussion on?
So
approval
is
of the
this where I
consent
do?
agenda?
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
please share with us.
Okay, so bear with me. Because I just have a couple of comments. I'd like to amend the minutes to reflect that we accepted, we did not approve, but we accepted the Playhouse recommendations, even though the resolution said approve, but we had it was clarified during our discussion and reflected in the vote that we accepted them. And I would like to add the points that I made to be included in the official record, which is that I had hoped, I was disappointed that this was not on a work session agenda, which is where we discuss things. We had 4 days to take a look at this, and it had budgetary items. I did offer my appreciation for the work of the Playhouse and the staff and support some of the recommendations. I was concerned that my original motion to create the committee specifically asked to address the $70,000 shortfall, and that going forward, I think any budget shortfalls should be addressed more promptly. I had concerns about raising ticket prices, and I suggested we take a look at the need for additional staff and professional marketing, and also that I was hoping to see and hope to see a strategic plan with measurable goals and metrics. And I would ask that these be formally included in the official meeting record.
No objection here.
As long as we're adjusting the meeting minutes, in that same section, it says brown red 3 letters. I want that to say brown red 3 anonymous letters.
They weren't anonymous.
You read them as anonymous.
I read them as
You're not-
anonymous, but they were not anonymous. They were turned in to the city with the names
You
on
read them
them.
as anonymous. There will be no more anonymous letters read. Any further discussion on the consent agenda?
I have some, if it's the right time, I mean, okay.
I guess I would suggest we address the minutes before we move on to other topics, unless what you're talking about is the minutes.
We need to approve the consent agenda with the
With the
amended
amended minutes.
meeting minutes.
Yes,
You need a motion for that?
I would do that
Yes,
before
please.
moving on to other topics about the consent.
we can take Tanya's as a motion to amend it, and then a support. I would
I'll
need a
support her for the
Okay.
changes.
Okay, thank you. So moved.
So then everything else is still on the table as far as
Yeah, right now, we just
accounts
need to,
payable.
We need
Right.
to vote on
Right.
right now, we just need to vote on the amended minutes
The
that
amended
Tanya
minutes,
sent.
All those in favor of the amended meeting minutes, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no.
Thank you.
Now, is there further discussion on the consent agenda?
Yes. This pertains to the communications, and in particular, the BLT minutes. I attended the last week's meeting of the LDFA, the TIFA, and Brownfield boards. Some important actions were taken at that meeting that are not spelled out in the meeting minutes. So I'd like to provide a little transparency for council members that were not there and for the people of Whitehall. At the meeting, the city manager requested that the LDFA give the Playhouse $50,000, and the board voted to do that. City council had nothing to do with this, and we have no authority to stop it. That is correct, right, Will?
Yes.
Okay. LDFA money is generally supposed to be spent on the industrial park or in the industrial park. This money is being called targeted marketing to promote the industrial park. It will be used to sponsor an event or two or to advertise through the Playhouse. But if this money really was to promote the industrial park, $50,000 would do a lot better job of promoting it if it was spent on TV, radio, or online ads. Instead, this is just a slick way to funnel money to the Playhouse. Also not mentioned in the meetings, TIFA was asked to approve and did approve enlarging the TIFA district to include the Playhouse. This way, TIFA can give money to the Playhouse whenever it wants without council approval, just like the other thing that I just spoke about. I do believe that council has the ability to stop this plan to enlarge the district. Is that correct, Will?
Yeah, the council has to approve the expansion of that.
Okay. City leadership talks a lot about transparency, but in my opinion, it's seriously lacking. And I think that kind of thing should be noted in the minutes of that board. I don't know that we have authority to make them do that, but I think a lot of the problem that we have here in the city, why the people keep coming up to me and saying, hey, where's all the money going? And expressing distrust with the city government, it comes from issues like this and from lack of transparency. I'm done with it.
Can I offer a comment on that? Is that
Yes.
okay? One of the things that I had
Tanya,
suggested.
can you speak
Oh,
to your mic?
as always, yeah, I'm so
Thank you.
sorry. I just totally forget.
Well, you're facing him and your mic is facing the other
Maybe
way.
put your mic over on that side.
I should just put the mic in my mouth.
Headset.
Just give me an artificial AI one somewhere here,
Yeah.
so. I
Thank you.
apologize, though, I appreciate your reminding me. Now I almost forgot what I was gonna say.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, when we had some discussions about projects that went through TIFA in the past, and I think it was last year, I made a couple of suggestions that I wish we could take up at a work session. One which is, why not have, at the very least, a once-a-year meeting with the TIFA board? To talk about what they're going to do. Why not have every 3 months come and just, they don't have to, but I think it would be helpful. I do find it a challenge to see pretty big projects taking place that we don't vote on. And I think that's something that I would like to take a look at. I have understood the TIFA district and the reason why, but I would like to weigh in. They meet when I'm working. I'm still working, and I think I'd like to find a way to have a discussion for council to have more input into these decisions going forward.
Sue, are you done?
Yes.
Comment also on TIFA. I know we talked about it and it was suggested and it had lots of positive feedback, was having a wooden stairway down from the First Street parking lot
Parking lot,
behind down to the bike trail. And it sounded like, yeah, TIFA would probably really go for that. And the way I understood the TIFA board members that were here, and other people. And I didn't see anything on their TIFA agenda here that had there any discussion of that or any talk of it or any plans to do it. So I'm just curious, how can we get a message to the TIFA board that people are interested in seeing this stairway built down to the bike trail? I think it would be good for the businesses downtown, it'd be good for the park, it'd be good for people in general for getting around from one place to another, up into town from down there if they, park down there or whatever. I don't know how we go about getting this before the TIFA board, if we have TIFA board members here actually on the council, and it's not brought up, and that was promised to be brought up, so I'm a little confused about that.
All right.
I have one further question on BLT stuff. Resolution number 4, South Shore land purchase. Can anybody tell me where the 4 acres is?
I guess industrial park, I don't know.
It says South Shore land purchase, and it says it's gonna be used for boat storage.
Yeah, that's in the industrial park. I don't know exactly which
South
part
Shore
of it.
Marina.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
not-
South Shore Development is the company.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's land in industrial park.
I have one more. On the accounts payable, and it's probably not, well, it's on pages 3, 4, I believe. Wait a minute. It might be spread across all of them. Now here's my question. We have the fee for double haul in there for the first part of it, and that is divided up between the water department, the LDFA, the sewer, the planning department, the brownfield department, and TIFA, but not the playhouse. Can somebody explain why playhouse isn't getting charged with any of that?
Neither is the city clerk's budget either. I don't know. I'll write down your question and see if someone can respond, if Melissa can respond to that.
All right.
You do have the opportunity at any time to speak with the city manager or the city treasurer concerning those issues.
Yep.
It's not necessary to bring them up at the council meeting.
Oh, I think it's valuable for people to
I
hear
think it
what's
is
going on.
as well. But if you brought it up to the city manager, then you could report the answer to the people
Well, I
instead
expected
of
it to
throw.
be here. I expected it to be here tonight, though. So.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the consent agenda? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed say no. Consent agenda. Next is messages. We don't have a city manager tonight, so let's start with council. Steve?
Yeah, I just drove through lots of places I like to frequent in the city on the way here, and everything is looking really good. The parks look real good. The grass been mowed down at Goodrich Park down here, and it all looks awesome. I think and also the leaf pickup. I was amazed. I put leaves out at about noon. 2 hours later, well, about an hour later, I saw a city truck drive by our street. An hour after that, my leaves were all sucked up and gone. And these guys, I think, are just doing a fantastic job. I think it's better to have this in city than having the old way we used to do it with the contractor. So I'm real happy with that. So somebody tell Brian.
I will do that.
That's all I have.
All right. Scott?
I don't know how to go about doing this the right way. Maybe Will can lead me in the right direction. Mr. Zemer sent a letter, or not a letter, an email that he asked no one to respond to about his concerns about the Playhouse. And there isn't any way to respond to what he wrote without reading it into the record, correct?
Correct, yeah, I mean, one of the, for Open Meetings Act purposes, you can't deliberate in anything other than a public setting. And so email, text, phone calls, private meetings are discouraged for that reason, because where you start to cross the line between, okay, the meeting's postponed for half an hour because something happened, that's fine, that kind of communication you can do. Where that drifts into deliberation can start to get, it's not necessarily a clear-cut line. So that's where you really, it's anything, I think we've done this, I think Tanya's done this several times, to just send something to someone in the city and ask them to distribute it is fine as a way to communicate that, to get something out, but then just really shouldn't be any response to any of those type of things.
Yeah,
'cause
I
that's where that
understand
can be,
all that, I just, I wanted to respond to it, but
Yeah.
since it's not out to anybody except the 7 people that are sitting here,
Right,
I would,
yep, so then the only way to do it would be in a public
okay.
response.
Would you be able to respond to one person? I
No.
mean,
No,
'cause-
that's where you really, it's any kind of that would be a deliberation
Okay.
between 2 council members, which you can't do that other than you can be in a public setting, doesn't mean you can't be around each other and talk about non-public things, but you can't deliberate.
okay, I thought it had to be like a quorum.
That's when it has to be a public meeting, but it's still, any kind of deliberations need to take place. And if it goes out to everybody, you can talk amongst yourselves, but you can't, and if you talk to you and then you talk to you, and that's where it gets to be a really slippery slope, and you gotta be really careful about doing that.
So should it be put in the consent agenda for the next meeting?
Sure, that's how, if something wants to
And
be
then we
done,
can
if somebody
all look
wants
at
to
it.
submit something to be added to the agenda or whatnot to be discussed, that's perfectly fine.
Okay, I was just gonna read it into the record
Sure, yeah,
now,
yeah, that's fine.
if that's
Sure.
appropriate, or do you wanna put it in the next consent agenda?
Maybe that would be better, just because then it goes into the packet and it gets put
I
on the
ran a
website.
copy of it, Tom, I hope you don't mind.
Oh, I have it.
You have
I
it?
have it.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, you copied me.
I just wanted to be able to respond to it.
If it's a discussion, is it something that's better for a work session? I mean, if you all want to respond to that, is that not something that should be, you know what I mean? It's something more official, rather than, I don't know, just throwing it out there.
It doesn't need discussion as far as I'm concerned, other than me to say I agree with it. So, that's all.
Just a question. I know the layout of City Hall. Do we have an AED in City Hall, Brenda?
We did, do we still?
What?
AED?
Do we have an AED in the facility?
We did at one point, I thought, but I'm not sure.
Other than the patrol cars?
Yes, we do, but where it is, I don't know, I was part of it.
Yeah.
It just, something came to mind the other day, and none of us are getting younger,
Uh-huh.
that it might not be a bad deal to have one mounted on the wall, either out there or in here, just to be on the safe side. Might be something to look at for a budget, or see if we can get one donated from somebody, but,
We did at one point, let me look into it and see what
okay,
comes
yeah,
up.
if you could let me know, it'd be appreciated. And that's all I got.
Tom?
Yeah. With the change coming in leadership in the police department taking place at the same time as the budgeting process for next year, I want to read something from last year's budget document, so I'm going to be reading here 2 paragraphs. The police department will consume 45% of the general fund expenditures. This number ranges from 30% to 35% of other communities, in other communities. The average police budget for the 10 communities closest to our population is $809,000. We have the highest budget at nearly double the average at $1.5 million. The average full-time staff is 6. Whitehall has 8, including the benefits of employing a detective and a school resource officer. Only 51% of the school districts nationwide have a school resource officer and detective in communities our size. To reduce this financial budget, we will be asking the Whitehall District Schools to increase their reimbursement for the school resource officer from $20,000 to $30,000. We will also look to reduce the staff size through attrition, beginning with Chief Squire's planned retirement in 2025. We will have a chief, but lose one position with the potential first-year savings of $115,000. And that's the end of the reading. This statement about saving money through attrition went a long way towards convincing council to approve last year's police budget. The same statement was also part of last year's audit documents. I also wanted to note that Montague spends 30% of their total budget on police. So as a percentage of total budget, Whitehall is spending 50% more than Montague. The reason I bring this up now is so that I can publicly request the city manager, the current police chief, and the future police chief to honor their statement and not hire another officer. The $115,000 savings could be spent on, instead on streets and sidewalks, something the Whitehall residents are always asking for. I'm done.
May I make a comment on that?
Sure.
It's not you to approve.
Pardon me?
It's not your point to approve, it's mine. For people to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the chair's prerogative. Yes, you may.
Thank you. Several statements with that are inaccurate as far as savings goes from a person in the same career path. We would not save remotely $115,000. We're currently, the Whitehall Police Department has 2 part-time staff. Just like everybody else in public safety, part-time staff is hard to find. If you don't have part-time staff, you have to pay full-time staff overtime to cover those same amount of hours, which is going to eat into that $115,000. To lose, if we lose the detective lieutenant's position or not fill that position, that means the patrol officers have to do all the investigations, all the backgrounds and all that stuff that the current detective lieutenant does, which means that the guys and the gals that we have currently on the road would not be on the road doing traffic, doing ordinance enforcement, doing all the things that they do, answering calls, because they would be in the middle of an investigation somewhere else. And those don't all occur within the city of Whitehall. People come into the city and commit crimes. Ain't all residents. So that detective position has to go outside the city and do that. To not fill that position, as far as I'm concerned, is a huge mistake and a huge step backwards for the city. And there's no way I would even remotely support that. So that's all I got to say on that.
May I respond?
Yes.
Sure.
I didn't make those numbers up. Those were made up or whatever. They came from the city manager last year. So if those numbers are incorrect or whatever, I don't, it's not my fault. Those were presented to council in an effort to get us to approve the police budget, which I might add, they still added another $50-some thousand on there for a squad car,
That was totaled in an accident.
right? So I'm done.
Yes.
Okay, I was just going to remind everybody that Sunday, this coming Sunday, is the trash bash, and we'll be picking up trash from 1 to 4. We meet at the Chamber of Commerce depot station, and so come on out, dress appropriately, and help continue the good look of our city.
What time, Deb?
It's from 1 to 4.
1 to 4.
And thanks to the city for lending us the truck to ride around afterwards and collect up all the bags that people leave behind, so come on. Let's help make some more bags of trash. That's all.
Okay, just a quick update about the Solid Waste Authority Board meeting that we had. I just wanted to mention to folks that typically the city of Whitehall has had the most recycling numbers. So we have, out of all of the 6 municipalities, we've always had the highest recycling numbers, which makes me feel kind of good. So, but we dipped down recently, and actually the recycling numbers are down, and I'm just wondering if we might want to publicize that that's available once in a while on our social media, because I still find people who say, I can't recycle, and well, you can have private, and you can go to our transfer station. We're the only 6-person or 6 municipality collaboration in the county, which I think is really, it sets a good example for working together to provide services for people. So then just a couple of things. I have mentioned a couple of things in the past to be put on work sessions. I joined the mayor in requesting housing being put on their city streets. I've asked a couple of times. Our energy efficiency measures and a timeline to go with them, and then also the Playhouse recommendations. And if these are appropriate, I would like to see them scheduled going forward in order of, you know, the most appropriate priority. That's all.
All right.
May I comment something off of her comment?
Yes.
Is recycling out there free, or is there a fee for it?
The reason that recycling is not free is because garbage is not free. If you want somebody to take your stuff, you're gonna have to pay them. And I do hear sometimes that people feel like the companies are making a big profit on this. Well, why should I have to pay if they're taking it and making it a profit out of it? No, it has to be hauled somewhere. Often, I mean, the market goes up and down. The profit margin is low, you know, so that's why we pay for recycling, because we pay for garbage.
Yeah,
So
I just wanted to know.
I didn't mean to be snippy.
I didn't know if there was a fee for it or not, I just wanted to know.
There is, and it'd be nice if it was free, but it just, the numbers just don't work that way.
Understand.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, I just wanted to say my goal in amending the agenda was to bring up, once again, the boards and commissions, the openings that are there. There's 4 boards and commissions that are still in need of people to serve. I have people that want to serve, and not one member of this council has made any attempt to sit down and talk with me about any of those positions. It's hard to work with people that won't work with you. All right, we'll move on to public comment. Anyone wishing to make a public comment, please step up to the podium and give your name.
So I wasn't gonna say anything, but I'm going to now. Thank you, Tom, for that report that you gave. I truly appreciated it. I don't have to. According to the Open Meeting Act, I do not have to give my name. So your statement, I would love for you to try to not let somebody anonymously say something, because I have no problem filing an Open Meeting Act against you. You don't intimidate me. And for the record, when it was consented, him doing the consent, it was for her statement only, not for yours.
Good evening, my name is Tamara Horn. I live in the city of Whitehall. I was just going to comment from perspective of being in the audience that I appreciate not approving a amended agenda that's not an emergency, because I try to stay up to date. I read the meeting packet on Fridays. It was not on there on Friday. And so I have not seen what the amended agenda is. And I would appreciate, if it's not an emergency, that we have a little more time as the public to be able to see what it is. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, I wasn't going to speak as well. I'll give my name, Jerry Rowe. And if my memory serves me correctly, there was a whole cast of candidates brought to this council for different committee positions. And the council wanted to talk about it. They thought maybe we should consider some other people. They were all followed procedure. They're all very polite about it. And one member of this council said, nope, that's my decision and that's the way it's going to be. So my question is for Mr. Mayor, why would you think that any one of these good people would contact you and want to speak to you individually when you just dig in your heels like that in public? Why would they expose themselves to that? That's the question I have. You don't have to answer it because we all know the answer.
Name's Jim Schmidt. I live over on Division Street. It was brought up about Tifa, and if I understand it right, apparently Tifa operates independent of the city council as far as distribution of money and right. Is that correct? Is my understanding correct?
Yes,
That Tifa is independent?
they have their own budget.
Why? Are they not part of the city of Whitehall? Are they a part of the city of Whitehall?
This is an opportunity to make a statement.
Oh, I can't ask questions?
You can ask questions. If you had that question, you could have brought it to the city manager during regular business hours.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry, Mayor. I got my hearing aids turned up.
We're here to make statements. You're here to make a statement.
Okay.
We're not here to
Okay, then
do public
so
discussion.
who would I talk to about Tifa?
You
Who
can
could
speak
help
to-
me
you can speak
understand
to the
why
city
Tifa is
manager.
independent?
You can speak to the city manager.
Talk to Scott?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, I'll talk to Scott, that's fine,
That
then
would
he
be
can
the
help me.
preferred route.
Then he'll understand.
Yes.
So he's the one, not any
Yes.
of the, okay, good, I can do
He can give
that.
you the answers to all
That's not a
those
problem.
questions.
So, okay, I'll talk to Scott, I know Scott.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, we'll move on. I don't believe we have any old business. We have new business of city manager, job description, and salary scale. I believe this is more of a discussion than anything. We're not voting on anything.
You are.
We are
You
voting
are
to
voting
accept
to
the...
accept the job description and the salary range so that.
So
they
we
can
need a
move
motion?
forward. Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the job description and salary range.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion now.
I'll open discussion on salary range, I guess, because I don't like it. I think it's too high.
Anyone else?
So the, oh, sorry. So the range is 110 to 130, is that correct? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I would probably likely support Double House recommendation just because I think they probably
Can't
have.
hear you.
Can't hear you.
I would probably support the recommendation from Double House just because I think they know more the lay of the land than we do. I don't think any of us are in the business of going out there and figuring this out. Just my take on it.
I was just, I was hoping that we would have some actual numbers of what some of the managers have, and I don't know if that's readily available anyway, but is that part of what Nate suggested would be the in-depth study?
That is what I would assume. If they do a more in-depth, you're gonna get more details. This is just kind of an overview of, you know, averages and.
Yeah, I don't know if it's available. It would be helpful if they could tell you what level they were actually hired in instead of what the range was, but.
Yeah, that will cost you more though in order to get.
That's what I wondered.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not familiar with job descriptions for a situation like that. It seemed like it was long though. It was a page and a half.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Well, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right, it is long.
That's all I had.
I think it covered it very well from the discussions that we had with him, and, I mean, everybody talked to him that I know of here, so, I mean, it's in-depth and it covers it, so I'm happy with the job description.
Is this something Scott looks at as well?
Well, he's looked at it, but your input, your vote is what's important.
Well, I mean, he does the job, so I just
Right.
wondered if he had any input on, was that more than he's doing, less than he's doing, or appropriate?
Is it very much different from what it was before?
I think it's more in depth. I think,
More in depth.
and what Nate had mentioned too, he added things in there about ADA and equal opportunity, which we didn't have in our previous one, so.
I think the description is, job description is very, very well done. And I'm happy with the range submitted by Double Hall. The way I look at it is you're hiring a professional, and you're not gonna get a professional for $60,000, $70,000. It's just not gonna happen, so I'm pretty happy with the whole thing myself, so that's all I have.
Yeah, there's 17 different municipalities on this list that we have with the ranges. I mean, it's right when you look at it. I mean, they step, so I mean, it looks good as far as I'm concerned.
All right. If there's no further discussion, then roll call, please.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Sitnika,
Yes.
Kabala,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Zemer,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
and Salter.
Yes. Next up is public comment. Anyone want to make a comment?
If no one else is, I'd like to just ask Brenda an easy question.
Well, let's hope.
Are you getting any surveys back on this?
Yes, we are. I haven't looked at them to get a lay of the land, like what it's leaning towards, but we are getting them back, so.
And when is the last time?
You know, I'm not really sure we gave a deadline, but maybe when water bills are due next month, you know, I don't know, we could probably bring it
I
back.
don't know when they're due.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you have a one.
But I
May
did-
10th, yeah.
I did appreciate getting the newsletter
Good.
and getting that thing in the
Yes.
mail.
Yeah,
I'm
some people
wondering,
have oh, sorry, go
Is it
ahead.
appropriate for me, I guess I'd ask Will, is it appropriate for me to vote on this deer issue, or, because I am a city resident, so I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
imagine.
Absolutely.
Okay,
We've had some that have, you know, multiple households, you know, people in their household that wanted an extra copy of it as
Oh.
well, and we've allowed that, so
okay,
they want multiple opinions, so.
very good, thank you, that's
Mhm.
all.
Anyone else?
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Just a reminder to the public, Sunday's the last day for leaves, folks, so get them out. And then brush pickup is May 5th, one pass, so make sure it's out there.
I have one more thing I'd like to ask Brenda, please,
Yes.
if I may. the signing up, they'll have the water bill taken out of your
Yes,
account?
yes.
Does that mean you're not gonna get a bill, therefore not gonna get a newsletter anymore?
No, we can still get you on the newsletter, so.
Okay. I
yeah.
thought of that after the fact,
Yeah.
after I filled it out, and I thought, oh no.
Right, I think that we'll
like
have to
the
make
news.
sure all those people that signed up for that, we'll add to the list of people that don't have water bills.
I like the newsletter.
Yes.
I would really like to be on the permanent list.
Yes, we'll get you on the
I
permanent
kinda
list.
like, I kinda like getting a $0 bill.
Yeah, so that's,
Always been enjoyable.
yeah. We'll make sure we take care of that.
Anyone else? We have Arbor Day coming up on April 25th. The city will be planting a tree in G Park at 10 a.m. You're invited to be there,
What's the date again?
April 25th at 10 a.m.
This Friday.
Friday.
Right.
I'll be out of town, so I won't be able to make that or the trash bash, I'm sorry. Thank you for doing that.
We know we need trees in that park.
You know,
Yes,
we need trees
In
in
that
that
area.
area. Yes, we do. Unless anyone has anything to say, we're adjourned.